Let's take a look at the NFC Championship odds, courtesy of DraftKings. Jay, kind of break this down for me, why the odds are the way they are. If Minnesota can beat Detroit next week, I believe they have the best chance to take the number 1 seed. But how would you price this the same?
No, I would bunch the Lions and Vikings much more closely together. And the thing is that the Lions are 2.5-point favorites against the Vikings next week, and the winner of that game, to your point, they get the 1 seed. And so the gap is just between plus 170 to win the NFC, the Lions, and plus 390 the Vikings. I just think it's too big when the line is that close in that game. That game is going to be so huge for equity in the NFC. And also what that line is telling us is that the market thinks that those teams are pretty close to dead even. And if they're close to dead even and the line is close to pick, then that is just too big of a gulf for me. And I think the other thing too is that with these conference title type markets, like you look at long shots, you look at like the Bucks, who are playing really well at the moment, right? And Baker's having this awesome season and they're 14-1. The thing is that when you're not the 1 seed, then you have to math out what the money lines will be 3 times over. And it's just difficult when the Bucks are going to be going on the road multiple times. They'll be what will they be? They'll be like 6.5-point dogs in Philly, something like that. So it's just difficult to add up. So my bet right now in that market would be Minnesota. I think that just the level that they're playing at on both sides of the ball, I think that they arguably have the best offensive mind in the game and the best defensive mind in the game. And they have really good personnel as well. So I think that they would be the bet at plus 390.
What do you think, Lawrence?
I would go. You mean out of Lions and the Vikings? Or
just the entire board value.
Overall, I'll probably go Eagles.
Yeah.
Because they're the most talented team on both sides of the ball. Like it would basically be like best play caller on both sides versus the best talent on both sides. And then with the Lions, you got to get healthier on defense for me to feel a little bit better about them taking the whole thing in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised the Lions are, almost a runaway on that board. I guess plus 170 to plus 340 to plus 390 isn't a giant gap, but it's big enough where, listen, we all love the Lions. We love Dan Campbell, the story of them. They are a high-powered offense, but you're right, Lawrence. Like, the injuries have told a different tale, unfortunately, the last 5 weeks of the season. It's kind of hard to overcome that, even for a guy like Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and when you look at it too, even as much as I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs get 18 to 22 touches, like David Montgomery was valuable to that offense too. So they lose a little something there as well. And the Lions, for me to feel the greatest about them, would have to have the 1 seed.
Right.
I would, because I feel like the Eagles could go beat any of these teams on the road. I think the Vikings could beat any of these teams on the road. So the Lions would have to have that 1 seed for me to feel the best about them.
Yep. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I think just on neutral field, they would be favored over everyone else, just with the state of the Lions defense and how banged up it is. But they're the 2 seed, and they've just got to play an extra game than whoever gets the 1 out of Detroit and Minnesota. So whoever wins that game will be the favorite in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl, which again is crazy that there's a 45% chance it'll be Sam Darnold and the Vikings when their win total was 6.5 before the year.
I like the idea of Sam Darnold playing in an NFC championship a lot more than I did Case Keenum back in, a few years ago. So because I just feel like Sam Darnold is more of a legit player at this point. So, yeah.
Let's take a look at the Week 18 schedule, some of the matchups here, and obviously a huge football night in America as well. But let's take a look at the Saturday games right here. The Browns against the Ravens. The Ravens looking to lock things up in the AFC North. The Bengals against the Steelers. So we get a full AFC North slate on Saturday. Sunday, the Giants, who played their way out of the number 1 pick yesterday, they have the Eagles we're going to assume resting starters. We can maybe assume that the Bills will do that against the Patriots. I believe we'll assume the Texans do that against the Titans. So we have to keep on with all these lines this week. Yes, it's a lot of assumptions, but for good reason, guys. A lot of these teams will be resting players in some capacity, which, Jay, I would imagine this is the most difficult betting market of the week besides week 1.
It's also the most fun in the way because you get to see lines like the Titans are 4-point favorites over the Texans. Like, it's just ridiculous.
With Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, it's just it's a fake football game, but it does create a lot of opportunities. I think that Josh Allen is probably going to start against the Patriots because he wants to keep his Cal Ripken start streak alive. Yeah. And so there's angles of attack of Bills first quarter money line parlayed into Patriots full game money line and that type of stuff, which just doesn't exist in every other week of the season. So lots happening. Happy to see our man Lamar get the Island game on Saturday, Lawrence. I think that helps his MVP
the
chances.
thing about that is it's gonna be like he has to play because he's playing for the division. He's playing for the 3 seed.
They're 17.5-point favorites.
17. So, and when you talk about the MVP, just like I felt like about Josh, and you know my MVP pick is Lamar, how I felt about Josh Allen beating up on the Jets, I don't think too much could be said about the Ravens if they do go on to blow out the Browns. Like, I expect the Ravens to. Now, could he have 4 touchdowns and be like MVP? Yeah, sure. But I already felt like that, so I don't think too much should change off of that.
No, the cases are mostly set. It's just it'll be another chance for Lamar to get
Yeah,
loud.
just when it's the only game being played. Yeah.
There's still Myles Garrett on the other side. There's still, still in the AFC North division rivalry.
He would have to escape like some crazy Myles Garrett sack attempt and then throw a touchdown behind his head or something.
Which he'll probably do.
You know?
There's a chance that we see Jameis again, by the way. It's not ruled out yet.
Then we got a game then. We got ourselves a game.
The script of the game totally changes with that. We'll see if DTR gets another start.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.